Today, I'm going to try to answer the question that a lot of you have been asking me, which is, should I learn Xamarin development in 2021 or should I wait for .NET MAUI that's going to release in November? Today, I'm going to break down what is .NET MAUI, how does it relate to Xamarin.Forms and the Xamarin platforms underneath the hood, and should you wait or should you get started with mobile development today? So tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James Montemagno, and I've been putting out awesome Xamarin content for you right here on my YouTube channel. I've been also answering a lot of your questions that you've been leaving in the comments and building out my Xamarin 101 series. So if you're new to the channel, definitely check it out over there, break down everything you need to get started, and of course, answer your questions. Also, if you like the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell. And heck, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. That'll go into the Google algorithm of goodness and share it with the world. All right, well, I love to answer questions and make videos like this because I don't have to worry about coding. I can just kind of talk to you directly. I got some great questions. This happens all the time where there's new announcements around a new piece of technology. And it's always, should I wait to start with that thing? Should I start today with the current thing? How does it evolve? How does it, how am I going to upgrade? Can I upgrade? And the real question comes around .NET MAUI and Xamarin.Forms today. What should you do? And Pahul here asks, right here, says, hello, sir. I'm new to software development and to C#, and I want to learn C# for mobile and desktop development. I like that. I just found out about .NET MAUI as part of .NET 5 and .NET 6. And my question is, should I learn Xamarin in 2021? And will Xamarin be supported or not after .NET MAUI? Well, first, let's break down a few pieces of technology, okay? So you're right, you have .NET 5 and .NET 6. So .NET 5 was the next version of .NET Core. So you had .NET Framework, .NET Core, and then just .NET, sort of simplified it, unification of .NET across the board, unified project structure, tooling, all the good stuff that you would imagine. Now, that release came out last November, 2020, and this year, 2021, will be the release of .NET 6, which is the first LTS release of this next generation of .NET. So LTS is long-term support. So every 2 years, you'll get an LTS release, and then in between, you'll get a current release. And this is familiar to how Node.js and other sort of runtimes work, usually in the cadence. But every November, new version of .NET all up. Now with .NET 5, Xamarin and Xamarin.Forms didn't make that jump. They're still on their same runtime, infrastructure, project structure. And that is because the next evolution with .NET 6 is going to introduce a new cross-platform user interface framework and platform for developers to create desktop and mobile apps, which is called .NET MAUI. But remember, .NET is the core runtime. Xamarin, which was where company I worked at and the product I continue to work on to this day, Xamarin is sort of just the base infrastructure that lets C# and .NET run on iOS and Android devices and all the tooling and compilation. Xamarin.Forms is what the majority of developers use when they're building with Xamarin. Xamarin.Forms as a cross-platform user interface library, has all of your dependency services in it, has access to all the UI, to everything that you need. Now, with .NET MAUI though, if we really pull up what does it mean, well, it's technically really this evolution of Xamarin.Forms. Right now, it is sort of, what is Xamarin? What is Xamarin.Forms? How are they related? Well, Xamarin under the hood is the technology that powers Xamarin.Forms, but Xamarin.Forms is probably what you're going to live in 99% of the time. So to really just streamline this, .NET MAUI is the evolution as the cross-platform native UI stack to build mobile and desktop scenarios with UI controls that have been built from the ground up for performance and extensibility. It's actually a lot more than that. This is just sort of the high-level definition slide that you often see when you're looking at .NET MAUI presentations. And when you go and you talk to the team about, well, what's their focus? This is what they'll put on the board, these 4 goals. Quality, performance, design, and platforms. I would also add a 5th one in here too, which is tooling, which I'll talk about. And I think that's super duper important. But with .NET MAUI, it is, again, the evolution of Xamarin.Forms, which means that it's going to have the months upon months of quality Xamarin.Forms releases on top of Xamarin.Forms 5, which is a spectacular release, and it'll have all that core infrastructure there. But the team is sort of peeling back the layers on Xamarin.Forms, and they're rebuilding how the tools and the UI are architected for performance and extensibility. So they want super fast startup time, super responsive UI, smooth animations, and reduced view nesting. So that'll peel back the layers of the UI and simplify that down. Now, with that also comes the ability to optimize the design and customize the design per platform. And I'll kind of show you what this means in some of the slides here that I've seen in a lot of kind of .NET MAUI presentations. The idea is that today with Xamarin.Forms, things are all renderer based, and you have to extend renderers and add more layers onto them. And there's some complexity there. And again, Xamarin.Forms has been around for 6-7 years at this point. So, like anything, it grows and flourishes. But with this, the key on design is extensibility. So you can easily add in Fluent design, material design, Cupertino design, or just your own custom design, anything that you want, and really make it extensible. If you want to self-draw your controls, go for it, right? It's all built in. Then the platforms are going to be Android, iOS, macOS, and Windows. Windows will be powered by WinUI 3, which is the sort of latest and greatest generation of UI development for Windows 10 development. And then macOS, and this is actually really cool because the macOS will go through Project Catalyst, which means that it'll be really, really easy to test because it's your iOS app bundled up into Catalyst awesomeness. And I'm super excited for this because any iOS application will soon just, boom, work right on a Mac if you're building it with Xamarin.Forms or .NET MAUI. Now, let's talk about that quality and performance, right? So quality, Xamarin.Forms has grown, evolved, and sort of there's just been months now since Xamarin.Forms 5 came out in which they're fine-tuning the every single piece of that toolkit. So you're gonna get all of that goodness with .NET MAUI, but also you're gonna get this re-architecturing here. And previously with Xamarin.Forms, there was kind of this tightly coupledness of how the renderers worked. But in the new implementation with .NET MAUI, everything is an interface. So .NET MAUI will be able to implement their own button, for example. But you might have Fabulous, which is an F# UI framework on top of Xamarin.Forms, have a Fabulous button, or reactive UI button, or a Comet button, or anything else that you want, a Skia button. And you can have all of these implemented really easily, and they're portable, they're reusable. They are also extensible very easily compared to the renderer architecture, and they're way more performant. So I think that's super important. Now, as we talk about this, right, here are some reasons why you may want .NET MAUI in your life. And it's set to release with .NET 6 November 2021. So it's sort of like that, and there'll be previews ahead of time. But, where does this go and where does this fit into the Xamarin.Forms story? Well, since it's the evolution, you're going to get all the things that you know and love today, right? And you'll be able to upgrade seamlessly. So to the question that was asked earlier, should I learn all the stuff about Xamarin or wait for .NET MAUI? The answer is you should never wait. You should always start implementing and coding and learning today. Since .NET MAUI and Xamarin.Forms are all built with C# and .NET, that means that anything that is not the UI layer, so all of your models, your view models, your services, your databases, everything that I've basically shown you in my Xamarin 101 series is going to apply. There's still going to be a shell concept. There's still going to be navigation. You'll still be able to make database calls or REST service calls. All the things that I've shown you are all going to apply to .NET MAUI. So that's what's really, really cool. In fact, the reason I became a Xamarin developer is because all the work I was doing on my desktop, WinForms, and WPF apps all came over into Xamarin and Xamarin.Forms. Like all that, logic, that business logic layer, I knew all that stuff. So you'll be good to go there. Now, the things that'll change, of course, are bits and pieces of the UI. So there are re-architecting of the controls, but that doesn't mean that the controls are going away. In fact, basically all of the controls are coming over. They're being re-architected from the ground up. Now, there are going to be some changes to properties and to namespaces, but there is going to be a try convert tool that you can go ahead and run on the command line and convert your Xamarin.Forms app into a .NET MAUI app when you're ready. And additionally, you'll have plenty of time because Xamarin.Forms itself will be supported until November of 2022. So if you start today, you have a 1.5 years support to go. All right. Now, I like to say this because if I was to wait to build my applications, well, I wouldn't have released my applications yet. I literally started my Cadence and Island Tracker previously, and had I waited for .NET MAUI, I would not be making money off of them. People wouldn't be using them, and they're all ready and they're good to go, and they run great today. So to me, it's like, hey, eventually I have to play catch up where, my apps, may at some point need some new features that I need to migrate to .NET MAUI, or Xamarin.Forms and the stuff that I have today may just work really great going into the future. But either way you look at it, you should start learning and coding C#, .NET, take a look at Xamarin.Forms today, because all of that stuff is going to apply. All of the controls, all your logic, all of your database stuff, all that stuff is there. But when you are ready to upgrade, you'll get some really cool things, because first and foremost, Hot Reload and C# Hot Reload will be built directly into .NET MAUI. It's already there. XAML Hot Reload is already there for Xamarin.Forms. That's all there. Hot Restart for debugging to iOS without a Mac. That'll be there too. You get all that great tooling built right in. But .NET MAUI will have something very cool. And this is where some of that try convert stuff will work, which is a single, simple, unified project for building cross-platform mobile applications. And this is a really cool slide because it shows the multi-targeting facet of .NET MAUI. So instead of having like 4 or 5 different projects and a shared code library, you have the ability now to put everything in one project. So here it's just called My App. But more importantly, on the bottom here, what you see is that you can put all of your fonts, images, resources, and on the bottom right, you can actually add your platform-specific code inside of there and do conditional compilation, which is really, really cool. And on the top right, you'll notice that you can actually debug to multiple iOS, Android, or Windows devices directly from a single project. You don't have to set different things as startup. You just say, go to iOS or go to Android, and boom, you're good to go. So you're going to get this unification that's there. Now, additionally, there's a lot of things happening in the .NET MAUI world. So for example, the last update, which was just a week ago on the .NET community stand-up, is that there's a whole bunch of awesome things happening. So this was the March 4th status update. You're going to get new namespaces. A bunch of controls have been completely updated. The Catalyst support is tested and getting running. WinUI 3 is running there with projections for .NET 6. That single project stuff I just showed you is good to go. All sorts of good stuff. And what's cool is that you can go over to the .NET MAUI GitHub today and take a look at everything. So here you can look at all the work that's going on here. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit too. So here you go. You can see everything that's going on. You can see the solution, how to build it, the tools that you'll need, anything like this. Here's the current news, the latest updates that I talked about. And you can see all the additional live streams, anything that's been given on .NET MAUI. Here's all of the updates, the specs, the roadmap. And here's a cool comparison. What I like to say is between Xamarin.Forms and .NET MAUI. So you can see what's supported, what's not, right? Officially from Microsoft will be Mac OS, Windows for WinUI 3, and of course iOS and Android. I also love that they kind of break down the app architecture models, because one thing that's really, really cool is that they're actually going to start to introduce an MVU and Blazor/Razor compilation, combination inside this thing. So there's a whole lot going on here. You can see a lot of things like yes by default. A lot of these old things that were sort of built and added on into the .NET, into the Xamarin.Forms ethos, right, is going to evolve into .NET MAUI. But that doesn't mean that your experience today is gonna, not be awesome, because it will be awesome. Everything that you've seen in all my videos, so the hot reload, the hot restart, all the new adornments, all the code refactorings, being able to build beautiful applications like I've been building on my Twitch stream and cloning the Peloton application, it's all there for you. So long story short, in this video, Should you start to learn Xamarin and Xamairn.Forms today, or should you wait for MAUI? Yes, you should start learning today Xamarin and Xamairn.Forms and C# for cross-platform development, because really, when you go to .NET MAUI, you'll be able to try convert, upgrade your project, and everything that you already know about the UI, about MVVM, about all that good stuff is going to apply, but you'll just get a whole bunch of awesome enhancements, and you can start coding today and not in 8 or 9 months. Just go for it, go all in, and start your development, because all of that stuff that you learn along the way is all going to apply. It's been applying to my mobile applications for the last decade and beyond, so I can tell you with confidence today that that's the route I would go. Anyways, I just wanted to break it down, sit down with everyone today, give you my spin on it, give you a little update what's going on in the .NET MAUI world. Hope you really like this video. Please leave comments below down there. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And don't forget, if you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. Like I said, it goes into the Google algorithm of joy and happiness to recommend this YouTube video off to other people in the world. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified of every release of new videos here on the channel. And thanks for watching.